Yo, this your boy James E with our out of theater review of The Marvels, featuring Brie Larson, Teyonah Parris, Iman Vellani, and Samuel L. Jackson. And we just got out of our Thursday night showing. I saw it in IMAX. It's about a half hour from where I am. I like to do it big, get the popcorn, get the drink, and see it in IMAX so I can enjoy that first experience to the fullest. It's always cool sitting there in that seat with other fans and waiting to go on an adventure or whatever movie you're watching. So always enjoyable. But that being said, the way we're going to break this down is we're going to go over the synopsis first and then share what worked for us, what didn't work for us, and our overall score. That being said, if you guys are looking for more content like this, be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for more reviews of TV shows and even movies. Without further ado, let's get right into the review. Carol Danvers, aka Captain Marvel, has reclaimed her identity from the tyrannical Kree and taken revenge on the Supreme Intelligence. But unintended consequences see Carol shouldering the burden of a destabilized universe. When her duties send her to a wormhole linked to a Kree revolutionary, the villain, her powers become entangled with that of Jersey Girl superfan Kamala Khan, aka Ms Marvel, and Carol's estranged niece, now Saber astronaut Captain Monica Rambeau. Together, this unlikely trio must team up and learn to work in concert to save the universe as the Marvels. So off the jump, what worked for me in this movie while watching it was Iman Vellani's portrayal of Ms Marvel. She carries all that energy that she had for her show on the Disney Plus series and shown on ABC into this movie, and I was saying it with all my trailer reactions for the Marvels. I said she would steal the show, and she did not prove me wrong. She killed it. Anytime she was on the screen, she was amazing. Her enthusiasm, energy, and honestly overall relatability just hooked the audience. It reminded me of Peter Parker, Spider-Man in Civil War. When he was on the screen and talking and interacting and stuff, you just like smiled because you just enjoyed Tom Holland's portrayal of that character when he was first introduced in Civil War. And I think Iman Vellani's portrayal was akin to that in the Marvels. What also worked was the chemistry between the three. Honestly, these three, Brie Larson, Teyonah Parris, and Iman Vellani, they worked well together. You can tell they kind of had fun shooting the scenes together, and the way it worked out just based off of the characters as Photon or Captain Monica Rambeau as Captain Marvel and Ms Marvel, their weaknesses are covered by the other person's strength. So, for example, Captain Marvel is a fighter. She is strong. She is very powerful. That is not the case for Monica Rambeau or Iman Vellani's Captain Ms Marvel. Ms Marvel, Kamala Khan, what she adds to the group is a open-mindedness, a go-with-the-flow type personality that the other two don't have. They are very set in their ways. They're very hard-headed to a degree. And so I think each one of them complements each other very well. So when you saw that mechanic of them switching between their powers, it worked. Some of the fight scenes were well choreographed and shot, particularly the very first one, the clip that we actually reacted to earlier this week. That clip was the highlight in regards to the acting and fighting and cinematography, just the switching between their powers, switching between scenes, the transitions, all of that worked in my opinion. The music even, I think it was fun. I think it was well thought of. I thought it was imaginative. And I think this is where Nia DaCosta kind of shined a little bit when it came to that fight scene alone. That being said, it couldn't cover up what was the big hindrance of this movie, which was tone, script, story, and the overall villain. Starting with the villain, and this is no fault to the actress, I thought she was forgettable. She was one note. It just doesn't work. She honestly is one of the worst villains I've seen in the MCU, and she's going to be forgettable. She was forgettable and uninspired, which is a tone that also carries over to other aspects of the movie that didn't work for me. And what stinks is I think there's something there with this character having the same weapon as Ronan the Accuser and similar power sets, but the bangle overall, how does she get wind of the bangle? They don't go into that. It just starts off with her finding it, and then boom, she's going in and taking over stuff. There's a relationship between her and Captain Marvel that happens off screen. So a lot of times I saw a lot of reviewers mention this, and particularly on John Campia's show, where this felt more like Captain Marvel 3 instead of Captain Marvel 2, because there's this whole missing movie where the villain and Captain Marvel have a relationship, and something happens with the Kree, like I mentioned in the synopsis, taking out the AI of Supreme Intelligence and it messing up the Kree. And the villain, Dara Ben, is going after Captain Marvel personally and hitting spots where she has familiarity and personal ties to go not only at her, but in a way save the Kree. But that gets lost because the villain's dialogue and just overall presence is not there. It's not even looming. I don't need to see her throughout the entire movie, but it doesn't feel like she's a threat at all. They tell me she is, but I don't feel it, and I think that's due to the script writing, not so much the acting. That being said, script writing. The story is all over the place. The hour, I believe, in 44 minutes, you feel it. You're here, oh, we're over here. You can't think about what happened here, we're on to the next thing. You can't think about what happened right here, we're on to the next thing. And it really didn't feel connected at all. At all. It's nothing with the actors. It's the script and the story, and it screams studio interference, in my opinion. Marvel coming in and maybe not feeling confident and kind of just trying to put something together and trying to have a coherent movie in some way, shape, or form, and trying to leave the audience on a high with this end credit scene and honestly end scene of the movie, which we'll talk about. So script and villain so far, forgettable and unexpired. Tone is, again, just like the script, all over the place. Is it silly? Is it wacky? Is it serious? Does it have heart? Is it emotional? Is it act? You don't know. You don't know, because it has all of that and none of it fits or syncs well together. It reminded me of Thor: Love and Thunder in a way. It reminded me even of Ant-Man Quantumania. Tone-wise, there was two huge silly scenes, particularly with the cats and on another planet, and depending on how you react to this scene, you might think it's the funniest thing and it's the silliest thing, and that might make you enjoy this movie. For me, it took me out of it. It really did. You didn't need it. You didn't need it. And tone-wise, who is Samuel L. Jackson's Fury? He's completely different from what we saw in Secret Invasion, even though that was a horrible show, to now. But he's completely different from the one we saw in the first Captain Marvel movie to now. And yes, a lot has happened, but we don't know how it happened. We don't know how he's just lighthearted and silly. The characterizations of Nick Fury alone, I'm just like, what tone are we trying to do? Is this a comedy? Is this just a silly wacky? And the director had even said that's what she was going for. It's something you've never seen before in regards to silliness and wackiness. Well, I believe it, because the tone is just everywhere. And I mentioned it with the script. Any heart or emotion you try to have, like the Monica Rambeau and Captain Marvel dynamic, and her, Captain Marvel, not being there when she blipped, Monica Rambeau blipped and came back, and even when her mom got cancer, we couldn't dwell on that because we're jumping to the next scene. So then at the end, when it's supposed to pay off that relationship, it really falls flat in my opinion, because we didn't have time to dwell on their dynamic and fixing it. It's fixed by another action that happens, and then it's just like, okay, they had a problem, all right, we're moving on, it's fixed, boom, that's all it took. They should have let that breathe. That was a very powerful, possible, emotional storyline that they could follow throughout the movie and grow the character that is Captain Marvel to a degree where it could pay off at the end, and I felt like it didn't. And then lastly, the studio interference. They had to just fit something in here to say, hey, remember this character? You remember this character? This all ties in together. And overall, you see it with the mid-credit scene and even the end scene, which a lot of people are going to love, but it does not save this movie. And from rumors I heard, the mid-credit scene that a lot of people are enjoying was filmed pretty late, according to sources, Variety, Hollywood Reporter type beat reporters who had mentioned that scene being written and filmed and put together pretty late, which is why one of the characters is CGI. So all of that to say, love the mid-credit scene, even though it was rushed. Love the end scene because it sets up something that a lot of people are looking forward to. But it really doesn't cover the fact that overall this movie is a mess. This movie is not coherent. It's uninspired and forgettable. And the parts that they had that would inspire and that would make people have emotions and build upon character development for all three of these characters, not just Captain Marvel, they rushed through it to get to what they needed to at the end. And so to me, this movie is a 6 out of 10 if I had to give it a score. It's kind of if I had an E word, James E, the E word stands for for me. It's fine. I don't feel passionate whether I dislike it or love it. It's just right in the middle. And I'm finding myself feeling that way with a lot of the MCU movies and TV shows as of late. Yeah, that's my take on the Marvels featuring Brie Larson, Teyonah Parris, Iman Vellani, and Samuel L. Jackson, out in theaters now. But enough from me. What do you guys think? How do you guys feel about the movie overall? Comment below, let me know. Let's talk some more movie reviews. Thank you guys so much for watching the review and hanging out with your boy. If you enjoyed it, be sure to check out my other clip reactions to the Marvels. I'll see you guys in the next video. Until next time.